What's up, guys? I'm Chad Barnes, and welcome to the channel. Here, it's all about real car talk, from simple fixes to smart driving tips and keeping your ride in top shape. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and make sure you watch all the way through. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Let's get to it.
Technology, as the then chief designer of the brand Gazelle said more than once in interviews, it was the S60 that was to become the first serial embodiment of a new design concept for Volvo, conceived in the mid-90s to replace the Swedish cubism. However, it was decided to give the laurels of the firstborn to the S80, and the launch of the S60 was postponed for 2 years. The P2 platform, which became the basis not only for S60, but also for XC90 and S80, turned out to be the swan song of the company. As an independent Swedish concern, it is funny that although Volvo of the next generations moved to the Ford bogies, P2 continued to live now already in America. On its basis, Ford developed the Platform D3 and up to 2019 built on it full-size cars like Taurus and Lincoln MKS. The most known in our country relative S60 on the platform is Ford Explorer of the 5th generation. The body is all steel, with very high strength and rigidity in the name of passive safety, including side impacts. Only sedan was offered under the designation S60, although the family of station wagons V70 or XC70 can be considered as one of the variants. Of S60, they have a lot in common. Motors, only 20-valve inline 5, both gasoline and diesel, located transversely. Suspensions, McPherson in front and Multilink rear. Basic drive is front, but there are also all-wheel drive variants, with drive of rear axle through an angular gearbox and a clutch. And depending on the year of release, the design of the clutch can differ dramatically. Initially, there was the first-generation Haldex, with a differential pump and duplicating electric drive circuit. After 2002, the cars received electro-hydraulic Haldex 2, where the differential pump became auxiliary, since 2004, Haldex 3, and since 2007, Haldex 4, where only the electric pump remained. The electrics are even initially quite progressive, with multiplex buses, and during the production period they have managed to be updated many times and quite seriously. Timeline: July 2000. The model goes on sale in Europe. The engines are gasoline 2.4 140 horsepower, 2.4 170 horsepower, with a choice of 5-speed automatic and manual transmission. The version with a turbocharged 2.4T with an output of 200 horsepower is equipped with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Drive is front-wheel drive only. September 2000. Introduction of supercharged 2.0T 163 horsepower version for the Swiss and Italian markets. June 2001. Diesel version D5 with 2.4 163 horsepower engine is presented. December 2001. Volvo S60 T5 2.3 with 250 horsepower engine and sporty chassis is introduced, as well as a variant with a junior version of the 2.4D. 130 horsepower diesel engine, both available only with MKP. February 2001. The 2.4T 200 horsepower version with automatic transmission was introduced, and all-wheel drive became available for all versions with this motor. March 2003. Volvo S60 I with 300 horsepower 2.5T engine, all-wheel drive, and revised exterior styling is introduced. April 2003. The 2.5T version is introduced, replacing versions with the 2.4T engine. April 2004. Restyling of the model, cosmetic updates of the body, new optics, minimal modernization of the power structure and assembly technologies. All gasoline engines from this moment support E85 biofuel, and a separate version 2.4 biofuel 140 horsepower is discontinued. September 2005. Second stage of restyling, remotorization. Diesel engines were replaced by second-generation engines with particulate filter. The younger version D4 received 126 horsepower, and the more powerful version D5 became 185 horsepower. June 2007. S60 version is discontinued. Modernization of electronics, changes in body assembly technologies, updated interior of all versions. January 2009. The last cars of the first generation were released. Body. Exterior panels. Even in the northern climate the cars are preserved quite well, but age takes its toll. There are a number of specific problems of their own. For example, in cars up to 2004, the base colors of non-metallic paintwork burn out badly. The coating loses its shine, and the varnish peels off over a large area. According to observations, the earliest cars suffer from this problem less often. It seems to be a result of changes in the production process closer to restyling, and it is noticed that Belgian-made cars have problems with paintwork more often. After restyling, there are usually no problems with gloss, but there is a bigger problem: bugs and chips. Apparently, the paintwork on restyled cars is thinner and softer. Don't be surprised if, upon inspection, older cars are more intact than newer ones. Many cars at the bottom of the market, even in recent years, can have a full set of corrosion problems with native paintwork. The windshield frame rusts badly, both on top and on the sides. One of the reasons is moisture accumulation under rubber moldings with not the most successful fasteners. In neglected cases, rust crawls from the main centers of the frame to the pillars and the inner side of the door openings. On the roof, dirt stagnates in the drainage gutters, and over time cracks form in the sealant. Leaks are rare, but red drips on the outside are not a good sign anyway. On the doors, rust spreads from the attachment points of the moldings in the front and rear. If the molding is loose, don't be lazy to bend it back. The door frame rusts because of an unsuccessful sealant in the upper part, which rubs the weld at the junction of the inner and outer panels, breaking its sealing, and the accumulated moisture reaches the metal. When the hearth becomes visible and paint bubbles come out from under the sealant, repair is no longer of much use. It is necessary to change the door. Work on cleaning the seam is still much more expensive than a second-hand door in normal condition, especially since it is possible to find a door even in color. S60 is not the rarest car. The sills are a separate headache. In the rear part, rust climbs from under the plastic cover upwards from the fastening holes, where the fastening clips become a catalyst for corrosion, damaging the paintwork on the edges of the fastening holes. The sills themselves have a very unfortunate shape, wide, contributing to the accumulation of moisture inside when the car side slopes, and even with transverse reinforcements that do not allow water to drain properly. In the front part of the sill, rust climbs also from the place of installation of the hinge, and in the lower part of the door opening. The sill also often rubs the seal. On the trunk lid, rust also occurs. Look carefully at the top of the license plate recess. From below, the wheel arches usually look better than the sills. In the rear arches, there seem to be a lot of corrosion spots, most of all on the protrusions of the spring cups and at the joints. With the sills, but they are mostly superficial, although the sill, due to its inherent problems with water stagnation, can literally fall apart from rust. The arch and spar joint is well protected with sealant. Through perforations are rare. Arch edge corrosion happens regularly. The shelf is wide, collects dirt, and the edge is prone to chipping. The most unpleasant trouble is hidden in the front wheel arches. The edge here is less vulnerable, but the suspension strut cup and engine compartment mudguard from the cup to the front edge rust badly. Curiously enough, on cars of the first years of production, the layer of antica in the arch is thicker, steel of the cup itself is thinner, and through perforation of the cup and corrosion of seams of the engine compartment are found mainly after road accidents. But every second car after restyling has visible traces of rust on the welding on the cup in the engine compartment, and many already have holes here. The reason is most likely because the thicker cups from 2004 onwards are not galvanized, and are still found with a reinforcement plate. This was probably done to improve handling and passive safety, but after 15 to 17 years, the holy metal is unlikely to hold the impact. Better than a thinner but whole one. You can re-weld the cup, but almost certainly you will have to weld the upper booster as well, and on many cars you will have to replace the inner mudguard at the same time. The work is not the easiest: to drill out thick metal at the welding points, to clean everything qualitatively, to put repair cups. And they still need to be found. Besides, welding works on the front part of the car may quite legally arouse the interest of traffic police officers, and the car risks to be sent for examination from the MREO. In short, it is better not to take a car with badly rotten front arches. Try to assess the condition of the arches from below, but it is desirable to remove the locker. If there is no such possibility, try to make an impression by indirect signs: red plaque on the cup seam and upper reinforcement and cracks of sealant. The bottom of the S60 is covered well from the outside and does not rust very much, except in the area of jackstands, around the fuel tank and under the trunk. Sometimes it rots from inside because of leaks in the cabin. Thanks to the design of seals of the radiator and drainage of the overmotor niche and air conditioner, leaks due to these Shortcomings occur in all Volvo on the platform P2. Speaking of the overmotor niche, on S60 it is difficult to get to it. It is necessary to remove wiper guides and a rigid plastic cover. In general, few people climb there, but they should. The design of drain valves has a high edge, and water should be drained through relatively small holes, which are easily clogged. As a result, water remains in a recess around the valve for a long time, and at the same time around always accumulates a layer of sludge. If the machine is often parked under a tree, the rate of overgrowth of the drains is multiplied. This is not only dangerous in terms of corrosion. Just 3 centimeters above is the gland of the wiring to the SEM unit, the central power distribution unit of the car. On S60 and all other P2 models it controls lights, dashboard control, immobilizer operation, and more. Any troubles are possible, from wipers and lights working inappropriately, non-working indicators and up to non-starting of the engine and fire. Experienced owners of cars on this platform regularly clean the overmotor niche and the box, which is laid wiring. Water from the windshield also accumulates in it and then leaks into the cabin. At the same time, it makes sense to treat the insulation of wires to prevent drying out, put grease in the box and preventively change the oil seal. Body fittings. The quality of manufacture of body fittings is not bad, but there are also enough nuances here. The lower part of the front bumper is held quite firmly, but if the springs have sagged, and the owner parks carelessly, it will definitely tear off, and all the fasteners will certainly be broken off. Fog lights are a consumable item. They wear out quickly and crack often. The main optics is not so problematic, but also quickly loses its appearance. And if you hope that glass caps before restyling will be eternal, it is not so. They are more durable than post-restyling plastic ones, but not much. However, if the glass can be polished many times, the plastic tolerates 1 to 2 polishings, no more, and then becomes cloudy and brittle. Protective film must be glued. It is good that now on sale there are non-original caps of Taiwanese and Chinese manufacturers at a price from 30 to 70 euros per piece. Because a few years ago you had to change the headlight or buy the whole non-original. In xenon headlights traditionally burns out the lens, but the cap is removable, and now it is not a problem. But the fact that the CEM unit does not want to work with a non-original ignition unit can be an unpleasant surprise for those who do not have an experienced electrician at their side. The problem is easily fixed, but you need experience with Volvo. When inspecting, be sure to check the window lifters. Breakage of the guide rollers happens often and makes itself known by crunching and skewing of the glass. The plastic roller dryer collapses from old age, then wedges in the guide or flies out. In recent years, door lock drive motors, mirror drive motors and other small parts of electric drives have been failing more and more frequently. All of these elements can be repaired, but not everywhere is ready to repair them. Part original price of non-original 2 front headlight 11 253 G parts 5 718 front headlight xenon 51 718. Polcar 67 390 windshield 26 037 Pilkington 12 480 KMK 9 674 front wing 21 254 TYG 7 424 Blick 9 105 front bumper 89 480 out of stock. Hood 6116 Jesse IAI 15059 TYG 15118 interior. The Volvo S60's interior build and build quality is also good. And what amazing equipment it came with. With wooden steering wheels, elements of mahogany trim, natural light leather. However, cars are in the price niche up to 400,000. For quite a long time, so the majority have killed salons, and among cars with price less than 250 it is difficult to find not only a whole, but at least not terrible salon. With proper care everything is not bad, but the condition depends on the material. Thus, all wood steering wheel is likely to be in small cross cracks, and steering wheels with perforated leather of light colors are strongly rubbed. All leather black ones in skillful hands can give away mileage by 200,000 only by the lack of leather texture. There is a similar problem with the seats. The fabric is not record-breakingly strong, though they can withstand the same 1,200 mileage easily, except that the left edge of the driver's seat is often torn. Inexpensive all-leather ones of the door style serve even longer, if they are sometimes greased and dry cleaned, at appearance of folds, to be processed by steam or iron, and at landing not to wipe a seam of the left part of a backrest. The worst case is with combined variants with eco-leather, such are found on restyling. They complained about their unsteadiness to where even in the warranty period, they could not go out hundreds of thousands. Certainly, seats with perforation. There are cars including those with ventilation, though perforated ones can be without it, run less, and the central seam is wiped more strongly. However, it is not worth judging the mileage by the condition of the interior. A complete set of a relatively fresh car costs about 30 to 60,000 rubles, and they are changed quite often. Breakdowns in the interior are quite typical. Glove box latch, breakage of buttons of the driver's block of the window elevator, torn. Rods of climate shutters and breakdowns of the dashboard of different kinds. The clock runs, the hands do not work, the switching of odometer modes fails. In climatics, it is mainly the radiator that seriously fails. It gets clogged due to dirty antifreeze and leaks through the seals. Of quick-release joints, which by the beginning of the noughties were already being used in full force and about which we have written. Earlier written about it is possible to remove the radiator without dismantling the whole panel, but it is not worth to delay with. Old leaks provoke corrosion, to which much attention is paid above. However, the air conditioner itself also fails. The package of radiators is dense, and if they are clogged, the pressure at which the compressor works increases, that reduces its service life. It also happens that the supply hose to the compressor in its flexible part is frayed or the connections of the tubes on the compressor. Condenser and dehumidifier are sour. The tubes on the right spar often collect dirt around them, which is not good for either the tubes or the body. There are also less significant problems. So, due to contamination of the temperature sensor, the climate control may behave inadequately. And the buttons and levers do not work immediately, but against the general background it is trifles. The car's electrics were gradually improved throughout the whole release of the car. Cars before restyling and the first years after have noticeably more failures than cars after 2007. About the situation with the CEM block is written above. It floods, and this is due to the design of the body and wiring. In the course of modernization, the unit itself was made more waterproof and the wiring waterproofing was improved, but still problems with it occur quite often. Failures of instrument panels, immobilizer rings, steering column lock block happen regularly. Power failure on the blocks also happens. The power supply scheme includes not very reliable relays and fuses hidden in the wiring of the CEM block. Since this unit is the central unit, it is responsible for most of the electronics failures. But, unfortunately, it is not limited to it. There are a lot of elements in which the motors break, contacts wear out and soldering cracks. As a result, often the car may not start at the most inopportune moment or will require warming up the interior to unlock the steering wheel. The dashboard will lie and the indicators on it and multimedia system will not work because of a dead amplifier or central unit. Well, the cars produced before 2005 in addition to everything, not the most successful engine control unit, failures of throttle. From Magneti Marelli and ABS unit, and the last one, it seems, was broken until 2007, often happen. Especially notorious is the ESP unit with the number 222. Intermediate result, the most expensive problems considered to this point are with the bodywork. Pay close attention to the condition of the overmotor recess, sills, and front arches. If everything is not so bad with them, most likely, the rest will be no worse. Well, unfortunately, you just need to be ready for everything on electrics, but they have learned to fix almost everything. It is enough to find a good specialized service. In the next section we'll be looking at the chassis, the transmission, and the engines. In conclusion, the Volvo S60 I presents a mixed bag of experiences for potential buyers. While it boasts a reputation for safety and performance, issues such as water accumulation in the sills, a failing comfort unit, and subpar eco-leather quality can significantly detract from its appeal. Prospective owners should weigh these factors carefully against the vehicle's strengths. Ultimately, thorough research and inspection are essential to ensure that this model meets your expectations and lifestyle needs. Thank you for watching, and we hope this insight helps you make an informed decision.